Has this ever happened to you? You hear a story, something unbelievable, something that makes you question everything you know, and just when you think you've understood it, someone says, but the real thing is still left. Well, that's exactly what happened when I spoke to a scholar about the lost books of the Bible. What he told me wasn't just surprising, it was terrifying. And trust me, you wouldn't want to miss it. Imagine this. You're sitting in a quiet library surrounded by ancient books, the smell of old parchment filling the air. A historian, someone who has spent decades studying religious texts, leans in and says, "The Bible you know, it's not the full story. There are books, entire books that were removed, hidden, even destroyed. And the reasons why, well, they might change the way you see history forever." I was intrigued. Why were these books removed? What did they contain? And more importantly, who decided we shouldn't see them? So I asked him, and what he revealed left me speechless. The first thing he told me was this: many people think the Bible was written all at once, like a single book that dropped from the heavens. But that's not true. It was carefully put together by humans. And those humans made decisions about which books to include and which ones to erase. I was stunned. You mean someone actually chose what we could and couldn't read? Exactly, he said. And some of those lost books contain stories, prophecies, and teachings that could completely change the way we understand faith, history, and even the supernatural. He then told me a story I can't forget. There was a time when early Christians and Jewish scholars debated fiercely over which texts were divinely inspired and which were too dangerous. One such book was the Book of Enoch, an ancient text that described angels descending from heaven, mating with humans, and creating a race of giants called the nephilim. Imagine that, the scholar said. A book that tells us of divine beings breaking God's rules, creating chaos on earth. If this was true, it would mean history is far stranger than we ever thought. But instead of accepting it, religious leaders buried it. They didn't want people asking too many questions. I shivered. So what happened to the book? It was banned, declared heretical. Many copies were destroyed. And yet, somehow, it survived. Buried in the sands of time, waiting to be rediscovered. This wasn't the only lost book. The Gospel of Mary suggested that Mary Magdalene had a much greater role in Jesus' teachings than we were ever told. The Gospel of Judas portrayed Judas not as a traitor, but as someone fulfilling a divine mission. And the Apocalypse of Adam hinted at ancient knowledge, secrets passed down from the beginning of time. These books could change everything, I whispered. And that's exactly why they were removed, the scholar replied. Knowledge is power. And throughout history, those in power have always decided which truths the world is allowed to see. I thought this was the most shocking part of our conversation, but then he told me something that sent chills down my spine. There are rumors that the Vatican has entire collections of forbidden texts locked away. Documents so powerful, so dangerous, that they have never been shown to the public. What if some of these books reveal prophecies we were never meant to see? What if they tell us about things to come, things the world isn't ready for? I was silent. My mind raced with possibilities. Could it be true? Could there be lost books hidden in secret vaults waiting to be discovered? I know this all sounds unbelievable, but here's the thing. This isn't just a wild theory. History backs it up. In 1945, the Nag Hammadi Library was discovered. 50 ancient Christian texts that had been buried for nearly 2,000 years. In 1947, the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, texts that had been hidden away since before Jesus was even born. Even today, scholars believe there may still be hidden manuscripts out there, waiting to be unearthed. These aren't myths. These are real documents that have changed our understanding of history and religion. So the question isn't whether there are lost books of the Bible. The question is, what else is still out there? And what aren't we being told? I left my conversation with the scholar feeling uneasy. Not because I was afraid, but because I realized something huge. We take history at face value. We believe what we're taught. But history is written by those in power. And sometimes the truth is hidden, altered, or erased. So now I ask you, do you believe the lost books of the Bible could reveal truths we were never meant to see? Should these books have been erased, Or should we demand to know their secrets? And most importantly, what else is still hidden? Comment below and let me know what you think. Because the more we ask questions, the closer we get to the truth. And trust me, the truth is stranger than we ever imagined. Subscribe for more history, mystery, and hidden knowledge.